All right. Good afternoon, everybody on the East Coast. Good morning to everybody to the West. We are going over the New York and New England flooding event that is ongoing this morning that started last night. I have dropped a couple of items into the chat. Please make sure you put your questions that you have about this event or anything else going on into the chat. I'm going to wait just a couple of minutes for people to come on in. If you do know anybody being affected by this event, be sure to send them this link for the live so that they can get all the latest information. And we will be posting it as well, so you can have that forecast to look back on for today and even put questions in the chat as we go through as well. Alrighty. Just checking in to make sure all is well on the technical side of things here. And we'll get started. All right, those with the Weather and Radar app, you should be getting that notification that we're going live right now too. So you'll be seeing that on your device coming through now to get on the live blog, which not only shows what's going on right now with this live forecast, but you also see the latest information from all the events that have been happening this morning and unfolding throughout the morning as well. All right, so we are going to go over the forecast for the flood event that's happening, especially across the New York City area, Lower Long Island, and into New England. All right. Perfect. What you see behind me right now is the weather radar. This is showing your temperature, your sky conditions right now, either cloudy or sunny. It's also showing rain to heavy rain as well. And what we're seeing is a stream of moisture moving right into the northeast from New Jersey all the way through New York and into New England area. We're seeing some really heavy rainfall, and we've been having a lot of rain rates coming in, about 1 to 2 inches per hour in some spots, especially across Brooklyn, where they've been seeing a lot of heavy rainfall this morning, a lot of flooding as well. More than 6.5 inches have fallen in Brooklyn since the overnight hours through this morning and into the early afternoon now. Okay, perfect. Again, anyone who's just joining us, please drop your questions that you do have into the chat. It's likely if you have a question, someone else has the exact same question. So be sure to just drop that in there. I'll answer that as we go through. So like I was saying, we do have the weather radar right behind me showing the heavy rainfall rates. Let me zoom in here to show you exactly what I mean about the heavy rainfall rates and how you can see that. So you see the blue, the light blue. So the lighter blue is showing light rainfall. And then as you get into the darker colors, that's heavier rainfall, especially down into the purple colors here. When you see purple, that means it's likely flooding rainfall across that area, which is what we've been seeing all morning. So you can see that moving right across the eastern parts of New York City and into Lower Long Island as well. And I want to talk about what exactly is causing this. So a lot have been probably been hearing for the forecast. This is an inverted trough, and it's working with an upper atmospheric mechanism as well. So let me talk about what exactly that is. Let me show this on the other screen here. Make sure you can see it. Okay, perfect. This looks technical. All I want you to look at, and if you can see my cursor, all I want you to look at is right here across the Midwest, where you see this bulge going down into the Midwest and even into the Northeast. This is a low pressure trough. This is in the upper atmospheric level. And what it has here is it has a counterclockwise circulation. So you can see a lot of winds that are coming out of the south, so the Gulf of Mexico, as well as out of the Atlantic here, and that's moving right into the Northeast. This is our upper atmospheric mechanism that is also working with the inverted trough here at the surface, which is what we can actually see on the weather radar at this moment if you take a look at the wind radar. So let's pull that up as well, just to show you exactly what's causing this situation. So we're pulling up the wind radar now. You can see this on your app, by the way. If you don't have the app already downloaded, it's in the description below. It's totally free. You can see all these tools on it to help you with this situation. So what an inverted trough is like you saw before, is just a counterclockwise circulation in the upper atmosphere. We also get them at the surface, but an inverted trough is just flipped. So instead of looking like this, it looks like this. And that is seen here at the surface right along the East Coast, right along the mid-Atlantic coast. This is the wind radar. The cooler the colors are the lower wind gusts, and the warmer the colors are the stronger wind gusts. And you can see there is a circulation, counterclockwise circulation right here, right off the mid-Atlantic coast. And that also has these winds streaming in right off the Atlantic straight into New York City and the lower New England area as well. So these two mechanisms are working together, the upper atmosphere and the lower atmosphere. We're getting that bubble of moisture just kind of coming together, churning in a counterclockwise way and moving right into the New York City area and into the lower New England area as well. And it's got plenty of moisture to be working with here. Got the Atlantic waters are very warm, and you've got plenty of moisture transport from these winds as well. So it's just carrying it right in. That's why we're seeing all that rainfall and the heavy rainfall rates. Let me double check for questions before I go any further into here. Awesome. Yeah, hi Federico, thank you. So that's what we're looking at. That's the cause of this situation right now. So let's take a look at also what the impacts are that are going to be from this situation. Like I said earlier, we've seen more than 6 inches fall in some of the boroughs of New York City. All right, so these are our risks that we are seeing for this flooding situation, and this is across the Northeast here. If you can see my cursor, perfect. So we have levels 1 through 4 when it comes to flooding, excessive rainfall situations. What we're seeing right now is as much as a moderate risk. It's a level 3 out of 4. And rainfall rates, again, are 1 to 2 inches per hour in some spots, especially across, you can see the moderate risk really hones in on northeast New Jersey, Long Island, and into lower Connecticut here as well. Excuse me. So it's really focusing on that area thanks to that moisture transport right out of the Atlantic. And what that means is we could see rain totals more than 5 inches, like we've seen already, by the end of this situation. So a lot of these areas are really going through a lot of flash flooding, and I'm going to show what that looks like too. We've got our weather reporter, Jonathan Petramala, out on the scene right now, who has been documenting all of the crazy flooding that we've been seeing today. And we'll be able to, I'll show that to you in a moment there. You can see that for free as well. So what this means is we're going to be seeing a lot of heavy rainfall from the situation before that low pressure finally moves on to the east. So let's also look at the reason, not the reason, but the impacts as well from this situation. We've got a lot of flood warnings, we've got a lot of flood watches, flash flood warnings, etc., all across the lower New England, lower Northeast area, across New York City boroughs as well. And in addition to the flooding situation that we're seeing because of the weather mechanisms set up, we also have a full moon that peaked this morning, also a supermoon, which means it's just a little bit closer than usual in its orbit to Earth. Full moons, as we know, do cause the tides in the area. So coastal areas that are seeing high tide today are also going to see higher tides from that full moon. So that, in addition to heavy rainfall, low-lying coastal areas are more prone to more flooding as well. So not the greatest situation as far as all those things coming together all at once. So that's why we're seeing also a lot of coastal flooding from this situation. So like I said earlier, we do have Jonathan Petramala on the scene right now. He's across New York City, especially in Brooklyn. Let me show what the situation is looking like here. So as you can see here, we've got a lot of water being pushed in across these basement apartments in these areas. And no, that's not only in addition to just the flooding rains, but you see the wake coming off of these cars that are just flying through, the flash flooding as well, pushing even more water into these basement apartments. So that's an issue that we're seeing right now in areas that don't have really good drainage, obviously, as you can see here in Brooklyn. So, you know, when you come to a flooded roadway, it is best to not drive through it. You're not only causing a situation for wake and pushing all that water into basement areas, but you're also could cause injury and even a life-threatening situation for you and anybody around. Turn around, don't drown is the best thing to do. Take the opportunity today, if you can, to stay home, just to get out of these waters, because it's going to take a little bit for these to go away because a lot of the drainage in these areas isn't very good. So that is the issue that we're dealing with right now. All right, let me double check for any questions before I move on. Perfect. Alrighty. So yes, we do have the flooding situation going on. We see the reason why is because those mechanisms working together in the atmosphere. Let me bring that up one more time. And I'll show you the tools that you can use on your app itself to go over this kind of situation and anything in the future as well. So if you look at your weather and radar app, I have mine set up for New York City. We already have a rainfall alert that has been put out. You can see it right here. Those heavy rainfall alerts go out when we have these kind of situations so that you can be aware of those kinds of issues for your area in a timely manner. So those get sent out to you up to 36 hours in advance. So you can actually see these heavy rainfall alerts, or even, for different situations, snowfall, tropical, anything like that. We send out those alerts as well so you can be on top of it and ready to go for these kinds of situations. So let's go over this just one more time so you can see exactly what's going on. Again, we have the weather radar showing the heavy rainfall in this area. And you can also click on the rain radar to see just some more fine-tuned description of what the rain actually looks like in this area without any other clutter in the area. So you can see just the rainfall. You can see those rainfall rates really move on up, especially as this water is just streaming right in off the Atlantic. And you can see the heavy rainfall rates through here as well. And you'll see that right on your app too. All right, I'm going to double check for any more questions before I log off here. Yes, Scott, if this was snow, whew, thank goodness, right? Alrighty, thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to download the Weather and Radar app so you have all the latest information. We've got our live blog going all day. Follow our social media. You can get all the latest updates there as well. This is an ongoing event, so we're going to be having a lot to update you throughout the day. So be sure to take a look at that. But I'm going to be logging off here. Thank you all so much for viewing. And be sure to send this video to anybody who is being impacted by this and may not know we've gone live. They can take a look at this video just to see the latest information. And all of the description to our information is just below in this video. Thank you all so much. Be safe.